All right, I'm going to do some review for 8.6 and 8.7 prior to your quiz because of time. You want to watch this hopefully before you take the quiz. Some of the mistakes that I was seeing, although the quizzes were really good on the other hours, very high percentages, but I just want to cover a couple of things and make sure they're fresh in your head. This equation is extremely important. This is our Y-intercept equation. Remembering that M by itself makes slope and B by itself makes the Y-intercept where it crosses the Y-axis. So if I give you an equation like this and I ask you what the slope and the Y-intercept is, you're not going to tell me the slope is 10 and the Y-intercept is 2 because you know you need to get this into the proper format first. That means you need to get rid of that 4, that capital B, by dividing everything. So y becomes 5/2 x plus 1/2. Notice I simplified. Now I have slope and now I have y-intercept. If I give it to you as 6x plus 2y equals 10, I'm not in the format. You cannot tell me that the slope is 6 and the y-intercept is 10. You need to move this by additive inverse, like we did and demonstrated several times already. And then you need to get rid of that 2, that capital B again. And in order for me to do that, I'm dividing everything by 2. Y equals negative 3x plus 5. Slope, y-intercept, okay? If I give you a table and I ask you to create an equation from the table, let's say I have negative 2, 0, 2, 4, and I have 0, 4, 8, 12, okay? First, I see what the change is on both sides. And I remember, slope is a change in y over a change in x. I can't tell you how many times I saw 2 over 4 as the answer or 1/2. No, it's 4 over 2, which is 2. That's a completely different slope. And then my b, when x is 0, I know my b. I know my y-intercept. So y equals 2x plus 4 becomes your equation for that. So make sure you understand those tables and how to work with them. Remember, we practiced this one in quizzes. If I give you a point and the slope, I'm just saving you a step. I give you the slope. I'm giving you the m. So you have y equals mx plus b. You need to take these points and plug them in and solve for b. So negative 3 goes there and 2 goes there. 2 equals 4 times negative 3 plus b. 2 equals negative 12 plus b. Add 12 to both sides to solve for b. 14 equals b. Done. I have my m, I have my b, I have my equation. 4x plus 14. Done. No different than if I gave you 2 points, 2, 5, 4, 3. The only difference is I have to stack and subtract. Here, I gave you the slope, no stacking and subtracting. Here, one more step, stack, subtract. Get negative 2 over 2, which is equal to negative 1. I had to look for my m. Here, I gave you m. Then you do the same thing when you look for b, but you get the choice of what point you want. So I'm going to take y equals negative 1x plus b, substitute. Notice I always write x and y up there. 5 equals negative 1 times 2 plus b. 5 equals negative 2 plus b. Add 2. 7 equals b. There's your b. Y equals negative x plus 7. There's your equation. So you've got to watch those things. Other issues I saw, or reminders I want to give you, is if I give you a graph, that's vertical, like this, and I say to you, what is the slope? Then you say undefined. That's not the equation. If I ask for the equation, you should remember based on your notes, that's x equals 2. Remember, it crosses the x-axis at 2, doesn't go anywhere near the y. Equation, this is an equation. Saying undefined is not an equation. That is the slope. if I gave you the horizontal line, like this, then slope, for the slope, you're going to say the slope equals 0, but the equation is y equals 3, okay? So you have to be careful of that, and that you don't make a mistake or differentiate or switch these up. You got to remember these. Then I gave an equation something like this, okay? And then I asked, what does the line look like? And some people said that the slope was 0 on that. No, these aren't the same. This is a 3 with no x. This is a 3 with an x. Remember when we graphed this one? It looks like that. So this is remember, it's called a direct variation. The y-intercept is 0, but the slope is not 0. The slope is m, and m is 3 because it's next to x. So be careful on this one. It says go up 3 to the right 1. Go up 3 to the right 1. That's my slope, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, 3 to 1. Okay, so be careful on those kind of problems. Some of them, I'll give you 4 different graphs. Let's say I have a graph that looks like this. I have a graph that looks like this. I have a graph that looks like this. And one that looks like this. And then I say, which graph matches the equation y equals 1/2 x minus 2? Which graph looks like that? Well, it's process of elimination. First, which graph crosses the y-axis at -2? Not that one. Not that one. That one does, and that one does, okay? Then I'll say, all right, let's look at the slope. Is it positive or negative? It's positive. So which one has the slope guy dude walking up the hill? And which one has him walking down the hill? He's walking up the hill here. This is a positive slope. It's got to be this one, not that one. That's a negative slope. So be careful with that. I actually had some people, it's a really steep line like this, and they tell me that's a negative slope. No, when you read from left to right, you hit the line and go up, okay? If it was a negative slope, it'd be going down the hill like that. Remember, write your name. If you write your name and it's going up, it's a positive slope. If you write your name and it's going down, it's a negative slope. So that's always a good way to test and see. So make sure of that. If I ask you to write an equation of a line, remember, it's rise 4 to a run of 1. 4 over 1, your slope is 4, okay? That's your slope. Rise, then run. Don't run, then rise. And then, of course, look at your y-intercept. In this case, it's 0. So my equation is y equals 4x. There's no plus because there is no y-intercept. So be careful on those. And that's really it. So I really wanted to take the time to go through some of these in review so that you didn't make simple errors when you take your quiz. So tomorrow,